tarot reading. There are many reasons for that, many of which I'm not fully in understanding of yet because I've been missing doing my tarot readings, though they've been evolving. In any case, I got excited when a music message came to me that felt like it was a collective DM message. And I'm laughing because I know there are at least a couple of readers who have had challenges when they have felt a Shania Twain song being channeled. So I guess we'll see. I hope that just using it in the title and maybe mentioning parts of it won't make it I do. If you have a chance to subscribe to my Patreon at maybe the $5 a month thing or something, um, like YouTube has really weird stuff on it, and I'm just gonna keep putting out the content because I like putting the content out. It's a part of my light work, but it certainly would warm my heart if there were some of you who wouldn't mind like donating in the space of what YouTube and AdSense do not want to put on. It's funny because we're really just supporting the artists and, humming pieces of their songs or even singing them with our readings, but whatever. I'm not taking things that seriously anymore. Make it that tattooed on me somewhere. It's been a really nice mantra. So I'm laughing though. So you know the song. Don't Impress Me Much by Shania Twain. And before I show you, like, well, I put the cards in the cover, but before I talk about them, I'm laughing because the image that I got, there were several different masculines. Mine was among them, but there are several of them that were just in this like that don't impress me much kind of mood. Like, and what they're thinking of is like a lot of them are realizing that they're in really codependent situations, that the people that they signed up with have always been, well, not in alignment with who these DMs really believed that they were. And they're looking around at a lot of karma from their own behaviors of um, not fulfilling promises, not being accountable, not participating in, the full community workload, gaslighting, doing things like that. And now they're fed up. But it feels like they're amused with themselves, partially because they can finally see the mess that they've made. And also because they're thinking about their time with you. And this is definitely for divine feminines that it's been a long, I'm talking like 10, 15, 20 or more years journey with your twin flame. And they're thinking about all the stuff that they had and kind of recognizing the grass was not greener. And they're thinking about like all the stuff that you've been doing. If you've been working on yourself, you've been glowing up, you've been releasing, observing what's going. Sorry about that. We had a weird stream disconnect. See, that's funny. I was talking about I don't know that I want to go into the karmic energy, and then the signal goes weird. So I don't know whether that's a hush, just do it, it'll be funny, or you're right, don't do it. It's not a good place to go. Either way, the energy that I'm getting from those is like, yeah, you got the moves, but have you got the touch? And what they're if these DMs like have their divine feminines in mind, and they're thinking like they're like looking, they're like she got her business going. She got peace of mind. She got friends. She's working on herself. She's looking good. Things are moving in a good direction. She's getting more secure and consistent emotionally. And, like, I'm hearing things about her from other people that are good, and they're thinking about, like, how leveled that you have been throughout this whole experience that you've been through with the mission of separation, right? For however long that's gone on. I mean, for that could, if and like I said, this is for those that have been on their journey for a very long time. But I mean, it could have been months since your separation mission started, or a year, or a couple years, or 5 years. Whatever your space is in there. If you've been working on yourself and glowing up, these DMs are like they already thought you were a freaking trooper before when you were in relationship with them, and or or if you've been going through the third party juggling for a really long time, things like that. They already thought you were incredible for how you managed to alchemize half of that energy, and now they're looking at those around them. Most of them are pretty like they're still stuck in greed energy and lack and power and control games and things like that. And these DMs, it's like somewhere, I don't know, it's almost like they got a breath of fresh air, almost like I feel like by an ocean or something, or a really big field. I don't know, like somewhere wild, somewhere primal, and they just got like a big like burst of spirit in them, and like they're involved in whatever things. Maybe they're traveling or something, but they're involved in whatever things, and they're looking around them, realizing they're doing like 98% of the work for almost everything, and they're realizing that they're basically their money bag and their labor, and that if they took away those things, if they said, no, I won't, you need to do your own work, like if they weren't a dick, but they were like, no, I'm not paying your share. Our agreement was we would each pay equal share. We would help each other do all these things. And there would be time for my dreams and my things too. And they know like that's going to shake things up, but they're like it's fine. Like they're finally in a space where they're not afraid to be alone because they put themselves among the kinds of people that you always feel alone around, and they pushed away everything else hoping that it would, that if they just built status symbols and got all the materialism and had enough money and did all this stuff and pretended for long enough that it would just make it work, and it's not. And so now their minds are like, well, what did feminine do? Like with me, like that. I feel like they're really seeing like that mirror image. Is like, what'd she do with me? Oh, she told him, she put her foot down. She started working on her dreams. She looked away from me. You watch the Maverick readings, which are awesome, the Divine Maverick. Like she looked away from me. She made me feel ashamed of what I did, but she didn't try to control me. She just controlled herself, right? And so they're thinking about that, but they're thinking about your history. And history's been a big, the word itself, history and historic and things like that, has been popping up a lot too. And so again, I feel like that's part of why this is a reading for those who've been on their journey for a while. And hmm, it feels like these DMs are, this is funny, this is before even really getting into the cards. Um, it feels like they already know how to anticipate exactly the cycle that any karmic people around them are going to go through, because they're not original in it. The words might change a little bit, but the energy and the cycle is the same. And it's like, oh, you know what's funny? That's why I keep seeing jump rope sinks. I was trying to figure it out. I was like, why? I know it's relevant to certain things, but why am I seeing it? Like they're seeing how the cycles are going. And it's early in that, but they're seeing it and they're thinking about, I feel like these DMs are thinking about DFs who are good chess players, or good at strategy games and things, and how they're kind of like, it's like their third eye is opening up in their crown chakra a little bit, and they're starting to recognize like certain moves that you made, like you had certain choices, you like to go in and be dramatic with them, or to give them another chance, or to pull away, or to do this or to do that, and they're recognizing that you were not making moves in some effort to like, oh, I don't know, like war party build to attack them with, which made some of them felt like that was what was going on, and they had karmic people around them kind of giving them the same impression, like feeding those fears. And now they're recognizing that in fact your moves were more made towards self-love, and becoming less and less uh, controlling, managing of their situation, and they misinterpreted a lot of those different things. Like you were making moves that were for your self-respect, but it was distorted in the funhouse mirrors to them to make it look like you were like trying to trying to discredit them or set them up for a fall or something like that, but they're recognizing that that was not what you were doing, and that it was it's either someone or specific someone's around them, and it was also their own fears. And so they're kind of laughing about that at themselves, like, especially if you've ever told them, like, you just make the most adorable messes sometimes, or you're like, you always you go through it the hard way for whatever reason, and you always get back to the other side of the cycle and go, damn it, DF was right. you know and so they're thinking about that. They're like, man, that's so true. She knows me so well, right? And but they're already seeing the cycles, and they're feeling some of this summer energy. They're feeling the ocean of emotion in Cancer season, especially if they have dominant water signs in their astrology. And they're like, they're looking at everyone around them and like going, you don't even compare. Like, that doesn't impress me. I've been with somebody who really loves me. I've been with somebody who really knows how to talk to me, who really knows the depths of me. I've been with somebody who could pick herself up from her own bootstraps with and without help from anybody else. Like, somebody who's educated, who doesn't play half of these games, who's willing to have fun and give opportunities and be open. And like, you're telling me what, that you're going to keep blackmailing me, or emotionally blackmailing me? That doesn't impress me anymore. What, you're gonna try to hold against me an original thing like however long ago where you helped me? That don't impress me much. Oh, you say that yet again you're going to get a handle on your bad behaviors, but that don't impress me much, because my feminine made me actually learn how to see when somebody is bullshitting, and I was the bullshitter. And so it takes one to know one, and I know that you're bullshitting, and so that don't impress me anymore. Like, you say it and then you don't do it. It becomes pretty words, and pretty words don't impress me much. And I don't know, like, I feel like a fair amount of these masculines are not in a headspace where they're like, I definitely want to go back to my feminine. They're just simply, it's like you're kind of that measuring thing, like there's somebody that we all have somebody, at least one somebody that we've been with, that we measure everybody else up against. And like I said, if you've been working on you and you've been shining, and like, I'm not saying you've been out humble bragging, but if people know what you're doing, and you've been, just being a force of light and kindness in the world, you are seen, and spirit is setting the table for you. And feels like part of that energy is like, there's certain DMs in this energy that are like, that don't impress me much. Like, have you seen what she's been doing over there? Have you seen, that that brand label that she's got going on? Have you seen, these places that she's going? Have you seen what she's done with the kids? Have you seen how she's turned things around? Like, and even if they're not necessarily, a fair amount of them are not like saying this to any karmics around them, but they're thinking it in their heads, and they're like, especially if you're the kind of feminine that can get, you can get out and do all the yard chores. You can mow the lawn and edge the bushes and trim everything down and plant a garden and take it all the way into harvesting, and you can take care of the house chores. You can cook, you can clean, you can plan a holiday and have everybody come over, and they're happy to be there. They enjoy the experience, and you can communicate with people comfortably and be honest in what you're doing. Like, these DMs are like, it's like a light flicked on, and this is what makes me laugh about, like, the cards popped out as two, and the first one is the sun. And that, it's funny, I feel like that was the light bulb on that I needed in order to bring the cards into this. But it's funny because, I was asking the cards, like, okay, what's an initial energy message that's going along with these visions? Is that don't impress me much kind of thing going on? And I laughed. Okay, the sun. All right, it's both about music. It's about kind of embracing a little bit of that wildness. It's definitely a masculine card, and with the horse on there too. Horses. It's funny. Horses are both about dedication to community, but they're primarily about freedom, you know? And They can also be about communication and be about learning to listen. And it really, I don't know, it just it brings me into the mind of some of the Path of the Empress Step 19 that I was still thinking about doing. It's just like embracing your inner child with your adult side, like embodying who you really are. Like there, you know, when you see nudity in any of the tarot art, it's typically about like being able to be vulnerable without being weak, which is an interesting energy to exist in the moments that we're able to. And it feels much more like this. I don't feel like this is these DMs right now, that they're in this like, I what is it, the thing from oh, what is it called? It's This is me from, I want to call it A Million Dreams, and that's not it. It's The Greatest Showman. Um, like with that song, "This Is Me." Like that's kind of what I'm reminded of with this. You know, like when the sharpest bullets want to pierce my skin, right? Like I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna ride out there on my weird, sad-looking horse with my big red banner and my flower crown, just naked like Lady Godiva. I'm just doing it, you know? But I feel like this is what they see their divine feminines as. Their divine feminines as doing, and being in kind of that masculine energy, and being kind of, this is also a Leo card too, which Leo is about entertainment. The fifth house is all about entertainment and theater and being the star of the show. And the sun is effectively what? A star, right? And it's definitely a card of light work too. Now, what the other card that came out behind that was the Eight of Cups in reverse. And one of the meanings for the Eight of Cups reverse can be somebody returning from an emotional journey. Because that's, you know, Eight of Cups and upright is going on kind of a vision quest of your emotions, going to find that ninth cup. And it's always in here, right? The ninth and the ninth cup is in us. And so when it's reversed, it can be that they're coming back from it. It can also mean delays from coming back from a journey like that. But that's still, I mean, a delay is still a return, right? And so to have these two cards together, because remember that, you know, like if you just had just one card, you could interpret that and get different messages from that by itself. But then when you put two cards together, they play off of each other. They give each other a little bit more energy. And I was laughing because look at what was on the bottom in our underall energy, or our shadow card energy. And the Two of Cups is already an upright. It's funny. They say that's much more of like a love relationship card than the Lovers card itself. And it makes sense. Like the Lovers card is about union between spirit and two beings and each other, which that, you know, this is too. I mean, look, you've got it there, but it's because it's cups, it's much more to do with that emotional connection. Now, the Two of Cups in reverse is a bad business arrangement, a breakup, a relationship that ain't working out, no communication situations, things like that. You're disconnected. And it's funny because yet another, you know, it's like a lion with angel wings, and so we have a pretty good deal of Leo energy, which we have Lionsgate coming up soon. So I'm not surprised to see that. And there is likely, for these DMs that I'm channeling in here, to be some, I don't want to say fireworks for Lionsgate, but just, it feels more like fireworks of the mind. Like, oh gosh, what a weird image. I don't know what guide gave me that, but it's like pop rocks on the brain. Oh wow, like a lot of epiphanies, like popcorn. Like it's all just like coming in. It feels like I mean, it's not necessarily going to be like an on 8-8 thing, but it feels like part of that energy. And because we reflect, you might also feel something similar to that. Now, let's look at what the heart of the matter is here. Oh, of course. And I say, of course, just in the sense of look at the theme of cards, okay? We've got the sun, like somebody's, it's almost what is that song? Private eyes are watching you. Like, it feels like that energy is attached to that. Somebody, people are observing you. And clearly, DMs in it. And then look at the rest of the cards. We have the Eight of Cups in reverse with the Two of Cups in reverse and the Three of Swords in reverse. Like, all of these can speak about like the disillusion of third party situations, relationships, agreements, contracts, things like that. And especially with having a two and a three, those are more of the immature energies of of each of the pip cards. And so these are, I feel like the message coming through is look at your situation, and like if your DM's been in a third party situation, look at the maturity level of the situation. That can be a really good indication. I'm seeing a dragonfly flying around too. It can be a really good indication that this message is likely for you. I don't know that that means now or anything like that, but it's like it's one of those, if your DM was in a situation that already had it already lacked eight cups in upright, and was a very, if there's a lot of inappropriateness and it was very immature the way that they made the moves, then this is much more likely to be your DM amongst this collective saying, hey, I'm working on that don't impress me much stuff. And it's because, so their shadow work is in communication. That's like the basic thing. They've got to communicate to the people in the situation that they're in, that they're getting, that they want out, that they want to be done. They don't want to try again. They don't want to go more. And they've also got to be able to communicate with you about wherever their mind is with that. And I get the sense that, if this resonates with you or this part of it, you are linked with them through family in some way, or through some way that like has helped keep you connected through separation in ways that you might not have been if you like had no kids or no family or no really I want to say intermixed, platonically intimate connections. I don't know. You had a life with them, and so they're, whether it's children or parents or something else going on, you had more of a connection in there, and so they've got to figure out how to fix that, because there's been a lot of betrayal, and this can also mean a desire for reconciliation, and it's in the heart of the matter. So that's like, it feels like their hearts are weighed down by a lot of their actions that they made in immature situations. Hang on a second. Yeah, the hot topic, Two of Swords in reverse. So we've got two twos in reverse, and both are typically about communication. This can be even a little more of 5D communication, like block on there too. But in reverse, sometimes this can also mean like removing, like no longer having that. But it's, this also tells me that, like, it's for those of you that have been aware of your twin flame journey for a while, that you are probably fairly comfortable with 5D communication in this like space of time where they're kind of dealing with some whirlpools of emotions and things going on, and it because it's a hot topic too. I have a feeling that through your connections you're probably aware, not just in 5D, but like you have some 3D confirmations of some kind that it's, they're in an immature situation. And let's see what's in the bottom of this. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune, which is underneath that Two of Cups. So some sort of divine intervention that came in. Ten of Cups with the Star reversed behind it. So they, yeah, and the Three of Wands reversed, and the Six of Wands reversed with the Devil. So yeah, like they've been in a situation that's been very ego based, very bad boundaries, not good communication, and it really, especially with this Star in reverse, it feels like it's one where it's just taken so much from them. Like even if they really did want this Ten of Cups with that, with the situation they're in, they can't. they can't sustain it. Like even if they gave up everything else, like all of their family, all their friends, you and all of that, they can see it. Like it's draining them of every bit of their light and emotions, and it's not, nobody's pouring back into it. And with this situation, it's likely that they kicked over a fair amount of their cups. Let's see what's under that devil there. Made a deal with the devil. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles in reverse. They don't like the financial situation they're in. It's not a good reflection of them. Five of Wands in reverse. A lot of drama, a lot of immaturity, a lot of stuff like that. Probably a fair amount of mixture of all sorts of people's kids. The King of Wands in reverse. Yeah, with the Queen of Swords in reverse. I feel like this is the pair of them. The King of Wands in reverse and the Queen of Swords in reverse. Like, you got a bratty king who's like, say whatever reactive thing will come off of his mouth, and you got a reactive queen who's like, you know what, you hurt, if you like, kind of the sort of that's like wants complete privacy, but then you're not allowed to have any, and is like very double standard and very like talks a good game about intellect and aggression and stuff, but is quite passive aggressive. And if you really test any of the layers on either one of them, like to see if they really know what they talk about, that they're likely to not, you're going to see that it's very shallow. And underneath that is judgment and the world reversed and justice. So yeah, that makes sense. And the Six of Swords right beneath that. And hello, High Priestess. I like your name. Um, yeah, so like they're thinking about this stuff. They're thinking about the imbalances. They're thinking about the contracts that they're in. The world in reverse, they're still like, it feels like they're in a place where they know that the situation they're in needs to end. Like judgment has rained down upon them from every source, like family, friends, probably you too, and all sorts of different sources. And like even they're quite disgusted with the situation that they're in. But it's probably a new situation for them to be aware of any of that. And a lot of these masculines have been very conflict avoidant, conflict shy, and they weren't great communicators in the first place. And I think that I kind of get the message of like, they're trying to prepare for what drama they feel like they're gonna have to expect. And for some of them, it feels like, I still have that chess reference. It feels like some of them feel like they want to be able to end it in as mature a way as possible, and just say, look, it just ain't working. I'm not making you happy. You're not making me happy. None of our people on either of our sides are happy. Let's just call it quits. They would like to be able to do that, but some of them feel like the karmics that they're with, and there could be multiple of them, have such a game going. Like, they have everything, like it's like a casino to where the house always wins sort of thing. And so some of these, I feel like it's a couple timelines. Some of these DMs are like, they think that they have to be able to beat the karmics at their own games. Some of them, this is true. Some of them know that's just the kind of the last karmic lesson they got to learn, is that it's just better. Like, you don't, the fight, the strategy, the manipulation stuff, it's not worth your time. Just get out of it. It's just going to be way easier on everybody just to be authentic and genuine, like right off the bat. Um, and then others are at that place kind of inner peace, of just to where they're like, you know what? It was it was fun in some places, it was terrible in other places. It's clearly not going to become anything more than it was. And on all of these timelines, it's funny, regardless of what gets them there, I keep being brought back to that don't impress me much. Like, they're thinking about how you would romance them. They're thinking about what you would do in each situation that they've been put against. Like, and I feel like some of them, if you argued a lot or bantered a lot, like you had a lot of witty communication, a fair amount of them are like, they're missing that, and they're also realizing like, if you were kind of a stubborn type, and like they were like they had their stubborn way of being like, I want you to do this thing, and then like let's say you were like you wouldn't do it on principle for a little while because you didn't like the way that they asked it or whatnot, but you would get up and do it. Or you would learn that, okay, they get anxious sometimes and they go on a cleaning jag, and then they want everybody to join in and be a part of that. And so even though you may have been in the middle of a really awesome movie or game, or had something else in mind more romantic you wanted to do with them, you stopped and you got up and you started to participate. Like you pushed yourself beyond your own stubbornness to do it. And they're starting to recognize their own childishness in the ways that they went about that, and how almost like hard to love they were in many ways. But they're recognizing that you did it because you do love them, and they're thinking about that, and then they're seeing the ways that other people act. It's almost like they're able to run both programs at the same time now, rather than being like in this juggler phase where it's like this one or that one, this one or that one. Now it's like it's. I feel like, what is it, that it's not Terminator. I don't know if it's Terminator, but Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's a movie poster where he's got like one red eye and one regular eye, and it feels like if you made the red eye instead of a weird evil lasery thing, if you made it like spirit eye, and so they're more comfortably in this reality with more of their awareness of like their third eye, and they're able to look at each situation and compare themselves and karmics and DFs and others, and they're kind of seeing a few more of the elements and being like, wow, like if I really think about the story of the things that I've been through, and I think about the story of the things that I know that I put DF through, or that she's told me that she's gone through, I'm really unimpressed by these people that I've been with. Like, they've not been they've not been anything to what they said they would be. And sure, that doesn't mean they've not done anything impressive at all. I mean, there's reasons that DMs stick around, but it feels like they're almost like in this energy of like no longer settling. Maybe that's the energy of it. They're like, why am I settling for this? Why am I paying for everything? Why am I saying yes to all this? Why am I placating? Why am I allowing my dreams to sit on the side because somebody might whine at me, because somebody might be passive aggressive at me, because these people who don't want to put in and make me feel like crap for having boundaries might leave. Oh, gee, that's such a horrible, horrible thing. Like, they're kind of seeing some of the humor in it, but they're also, there's a fair amount of Mars energy going on around it, and it's kind of that fight me energy to a degree, but it's not with the hotty totty Aries energy that we just went through with the go big or go home energy. But it's definitely the, that don't impress me much, like, is it gonna keep me warm at night? If it ain't gonna do that, it don't impress me much, because you know what, I've had better. And for a lot of them, they're starting to recognize too, especially if your separation mission, if it was you telling them to go in some form or another, or if they perceived that to be it, like some sort of rejection in it, there's a lot of them are starting to get to this place to where they're realizing running away and running into the situation that they got into was very immature. And they're looking around at the people around them going, wow, like this is what I thought that I wanted, was to be allowed to continue doing what I was doing. And I was allowed to continue doing what I was doing, and it did not bring me the happiness that I wanted, or the reputation, or the good feelings, any of it. It didn't bring me any of that. And what I should have done was listen to my heart in the beginning and not listen to any of the karmic people around me, and I should have worked things out. you know. In any case, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of the other cards like I've done in the past for the music messages. My intuition saying that the cards we did were more than enough. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you whenever another message comes into me.